it's Emily from Vintage Polka Dot Shop, and I am currently working on Christmas journals. And last night I was crafting and making some ephemera, and I picked these kind of, as you can see, they're not the best Polaroid images. They're kind of dark and out of focus, but I thought they were cool. I picked them up like at the Goodwill outlet, you know, kind of loose in the bin. But there's got to be crafting potential. So, I mean, the simplest thing in the world, I took some images from books, and I'll show you the book in a minute, and just kind of cut them out and put them on there and just made them into Christmas Polaroids. And then just a teeny bit, very simple embellishments, as you can see, like with some vintage seals. And then I used my Dynamo Hobbyist 1895. And by the way, I own multiples of these because I keep finding them cheap, like at estate sales and garage sales, including, and thrift stores, including the ribbons. So if you're a thrifter at all, but I think, I don't really know, but I think, well, anyway, if you're a thrifter, keep your eyes open. But I also think we are memory keepers, or somebody made a new one. I'm not really sure. Don't hold me to that, but I have a vague memory of, you know, seeing it. But as I said, I have multiples because I keep finding them so cheap. So there's that one. Let's see, kind of, sorry for the glare. It's, you know, it's that time of year. It's either overhead light or too dark. That one. And then this is the first one I did, which is why the rickrack is on the back. Because I thought, oh, rickrack, but I'd already glued the stuff down. But I like the little hint. And I was going to originally like cover this up with paper for journaling. And then I thought, I mean, maybe it's a bad idea, but maybe like a white chalk pen or something might be fun to journal on. Or the person that buys the journal could just put their own paper on there. So I decided to leave it. And this one looks least realistic to me, just probably because it's kind of, it's all from the same book, but it looks too polished or something, where like this is like the color correction isn't quite right or something. And so the book I use, I have several of these that I'm using, Reminisce Holiday Memories, in these journals, because they have, I mean, I've used quite a few pages, but they have a lot of good photos in them. And then some of them are, like, I didn't do any black or white for the Polaroids because I wanted it to kind of have more of a realistic look. But out of all of them, as I said, I have 3 different ones. I felt like this one had the best images for making the faux Polaroids or altered Polaroids. And so I did look on Amazon, and you can buy it used in like acceptable condition for not very much money. So when I post this, I'll put a link in the description. If you're watching it on your TV, you know, you can kind of go up with your remote and highlight the title bar, you know, like the little rectangle that has the title. And if you click on that, it will have the description to the video. So if you want to find it, but also you could just probably look that up on Amazon, and it's got this cute little girl on it. So I got this at a thrift store, but sometimes it's just easier to mail order it than hope to find it. Okay, so I'm gonna get this out of the way. So super simple project. You've probably already figured out what I did. So I made myself out of acetate a little template, and I, you know, did it by measuring the square, which I think is like, see, my template's a little bigger because I found when I cut it to actual size, like you kind of need the wiggle room. So I think mine's 3 1/4 by 3 1/4, and this is like 3 1/8 by 3 1/8. And I don't really think it makes a difference that it's a little bigger. And then I traced around it with Sharpie because you can't see the edge. I'm old. And I also, when I do this, though, it does kind of smear. So maybe not, don't do as I, what is it? Don't do as I do, do as I say. I was using a Sharpie to trace around there, and then just kind of letting this sit there for a little bit and dry and like do another one because it kind of smears, but it also doesn't really matter because it seems like when you cut it out and you embellish it and it's black, I mean, maybe if you used one that had an all light background, you know, then it would make a difference. So that's how I did that. I won't really do that because you know how to trace around. And if you don't, then, you know, maybe you need to watch a different video. Just kidding. Just kidding. Okay. So just trace around it with the Sharpie. Just be careful not to smear it. But you could also use a ballpoint pen and a pencil, and then you wouldn't have that issue. And you could just use packaging. It doesn't have to, you know, just whatever you have. You could even cut out of a scrap piece of paper, you know, like a bigger piece of paper, cut out a window. So you could lay it. I like to be able to move this around and see, like, you know, like for instance, on this one, I want to be able to see what I'm getting. And so I would, you know, kind of move it around. Like you're going to chop off this boy's shoulder, but I don't think it will make that big a deal or difference, you know. I mean, you could go all the way over here if you wanted. So that's what I mean. It kind of helps you because you move it around. I love all these old cards, these Christmas cards on the railing. And, you know, also you might be able to find images from magazines, like Reminisce magazines. So here's another page that I'm going to use for, I think I'm going to use this one and this one for the Polaroids. This one's not quite wide enough, so I'll use it for a different project. And see, it has this cool picture. But as I said, for this, I was going for the color images because I think it gives it a more realistic look. And the glossy paper kind of helps. Now, as I'm cutting this out, I don't know. Sorry with the glare, guys. You see that line? I'm cutting just inside the line because, as I said, I cut it. I mean, the template is a little wider. I need a little wider than it needs to be. So I kind of have some wiggle room. Also, on these images from Reminisce, because they want it to look interesting on the page, you know, like a la yearbook or magazine, they're not square. So you kind of need to move your template around. It won't be perfect, and that's okay. I mean, maybe you could make it perfect. I can't make it perfect. And that's okay, because at the end of the day, it's just, it's ephemera. It doesn't have to be perfect. By the way, one of the things I love about this image is the old cookbook right there. I've sold that one a couple times. This chaotic Christmas morning. Isn't that, or evening? That looks like an evening. Christmas Eve, maybe. Anyway, I just love that. Alrighty. So, we're going to use this one on top. And I am using my trusty Beacon 3-in-1 glue. And I filled up the bottle, so hopefully it runs okay. It might be a little clogged. First project of the day. So sometimes I have to squeeze extra hard. Sorry. I like how it comes off. Oh, look, we got a drip. We got a drip. Better stop talking. But then you have to rub it off your fingers. I always feel like a little kid when I do that. Like when you were in school and, you know, like get the white glue in your fingers or whatever and you have to rub it off. Anyway, or like some kids would always like put it on purpose and peel it off. Are those always boys? I don't think so. I think sometimes girls did that. Anyway, I do remember in kindergarten there was a little boy in my class. I don't have a lot of kindergarten memories, but I felt so bad for him. Well, as an adult, I feel bad for him. But he could not stop eating the paste. They were constantly sending him to the principal. And I remember as a kid going, just don't eat the paste. But, you know, now that I'm older and more sophisticated, I realize that it might be, you know, he might have had some type of, like been neurodivergent or hungry. I mean, it wasn't exactly the richest neighborhood in the world, or, you know, there might have been lots of reasons and he couldn't help himself. I'm trying to straighten it out the best I can. But it is a little bit of a rhombus, but I'm not going to worry about it. So, I'm just kind of, I pushed it. Trying to get it flat, but you don't want to. I like that you get a couple minutes with this. Maybe I don't use art glitter glue, so maybe art glitter glue you wouldn't have that window. I don't know, but anyway, I wanted you to know that the Beacon's 3-in-1 does not hurt the Polaroid because it is a weird texture. Alrighty, so let's do some thinking here. I pre-typed, so I have one that says Christmas. I have one, oh, the tinsel one, I want to go with the tree. Wherever I put that image. I think it's off to the side. Anyway, I think that'll be cute with the tree. And then I did tree first. So no tree there. And then Mary. I'm kind of leaning towards Mary. That whole Christmas morning vibe. And Rick Rack. We're going to do Rick Rack because I love Rick Rack. Rick Rack. So I have a green one. And then I have 2 different shades of red. So I've got this one. I mean, they're pretty subtle. But this one I really like. But boy, is it twisty. We're going to do this one. I like it better. And I'm going to cut it to a little longer than I need. So I have some, I'm all about the wiggle room, man. All about the wiggle room. Alrighty. Now, you do not have to do this with Christmas images. You know what, I'm just gonna, you could, you know, just use all kinds of images that you find and really get creative with this. They don't even have to look realistic. And then if you don't have like old Polaroids, you know, because I get why people would have ones that are out of focus and not good colors, because man, there's something wrong about throwing away photographs, even if they're bad. I don't know what it is. You know, maybe because you paid good money for them back in the day and Polaroids weren't cheap. But you could just cut it out of cardstock. Oh shoot, I gotta squish. What is it? Sploosh. So the question is, do I want to, can you see I got a goober. How do I want to wipe that off? I'm going to let it sit up for a second. Maybe. I don't want to damage the image. I mean, maybe I better just leave it. I don't know. The world is my oyster. Oh, sorry. It's one of those where you're trying to keep it close to yourself, but I wonder if a baby wipe would help. Paper towel might be better, but there. Oh, I think I'm making it worse. Am I? Nope. Maybe. Okay. Yeah. Yep. It is a little bit goobery, but that's okay. It's not the worst. So, light touch with the glue. So I said, do as I say, not as I do. There we go. I got it right that time. And then I have some vintage seals. And I'm kind of thinking, since we're Mary, oh, excuse me. I kind of actually would like to use this angel one again, I think. Oh, you can't even see what I'm doing. So take that out. Maybe I'll just make myself pick one of those and not spend 20 minutes looking through the box. Oh, see, that one's already out though. And that one is already out. You know, it's kind of one of those things where you're like, I just want to use the ones that they're okay. I'm going to choose from one of those. That's it. I'm not going to agonize over it. Very lucky to have these. I think I got these all at the bins, and this is the first year I've ever used them because I don't craft that much. And then, you know, they're put away and I don't know. I'd like to craft more. So maybe one day. Okay. So we got that all done. Now I noticed on this morning when I came down, the one that says family, that this was like, had popped up, but I just pushed it back down with my fingers and it looks okay. So when I'm sticking this down, oh, I guess I better pick which one I'm going to do first. Because I could go this way, which actually I kind of like. You know what? I'm not even going to try anything else. I like it. So, question is, do I want to trim? See, it's not centered, which that never bothers me because I actually kind of like these sort of funky. I'm going to look at the computer screen, see what it looks like. Yeah, I don't even think I'm going to trim it. Just going to do it just like that. Woo, that was easy. Easy, easy, easy. Okay. Peel that off. And so did anybody else have kids that ate paste in their school and they couldn't help themselves? I feel so bad for that boy now. I hope he grew up okay. But boy, kids are harsh. I just remember thinking, just don't eat paste. Just don't do it. Okay. I also think about my kindergarten teacher because I was pretty sure at the time she was like 100 years old, and she was probably, who knows how old she really was, but she wasn't probably older than 50. So, all right. Ooh, the glue is bubbling today. And the nice thing about kind of doing it this way is I'm trying to kind of cover up my goober a little bit. And apparently I'm making more goobers. So I have not tried like getting these seals wet to see if they'll stick. They're just so old that I'm just gluing them. And pressing down again on the Mary. And there we go. All done. See, super quick. You make that in just a couple minutes. Go to town. Look through your, you could even use printables. There's some people that sell, like Christmas photos, and you could print it on glossy paper or semi-glossy paper. So just something to have fun with. And maybe you have, it'd be wonderful if you had some kind of, out of focus Polaroids. So let me know if you have any questions or tips or thoughts in the comments below. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.